Hi, I'm Chris, and we're still chugging along here going through an SAT subject test for the Math Level 2. So hopefully you've been checking out our other videos along the way. If you haven't, then feel free to take a look at the other videos in the playlist. Right now we're going over a question that a student emailed me about this week. And this has a triangle, and they give us values for A, B, and C, the lengths of each side, and they give us one of the angles. So for this, they ask us to solve for x. And when you're given two sides and one angle, or all three sides rather, and one angle, but you have one variable in there, you have the x's included, then this is a situation where we want to use law of cosines. So in order to do that for this question, we have to know what law of cosines is. And law of cosines says that c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, which that part of it by itself, hopefully you recognize that's Pythagorean theorem, which we've seen before. And then from there, for law of cosines, we're just going to add on to Pythagorean theorem a little bit. Because basically, just to talk briefly about where that comes from, a squared and b squared, when you add them together, it equals c squared if you're looking at a 90-degree right triangle. But not every triangle is 90 degrees. So a triangle like this, if we were to draw an altitude which splits it into the two right triangles, then we can see where the second part of our equation comes from. And for that, we're going to go ahead and come over here. We're going to subtract 2ab and times the cosine of c. Now, capital C represents the angle. Lowercase c represents the side. So I'll try to draw them different sizes, but if it ever gets unclear, just know that here, when you have the trig function with the cosine, you're talking about the angle, and here, little c, we're just talking about the side. So now we can go ahead and plug in these values and solve for x. So here, c squared would be root 12. Whoops. Let's erase that. Square root of 12 squared. And then a squared would be quantity 2x squared. B squared would be the quantity of 3x plus 2 squared, minus 2 times 2x times 3x plus 2, cosine of 60 degrees. Now to simplify, root 12 squared, when we square that, we get 12. And for this part, once we have it set up, hopefully by this stage, if you're looking at one of the hardest questions, because remember, SAT subject test goes easy to hard in the math. So if you're on question 45 out of 50, that means you're looking at a very high level difficulty question. So hopefully that means we're pretty comfortable with our basic algebra. So this part I'm going to motor through pretty quickly, but I'll try to talk through as I go. So root 12 squared is 12. Quantity 2x squared, make sure you square both of them. That's 4x squared plus 3x plus 2. You can't just square each part. A lot of students here write 9x squared plus 4, which is incorrect. You have to FOIL this. When you FOIL it, you get 9x squared plus 6x when you do your outside terms, plus another 6x plus 4. Then here, we'll do this in parts. So minus, we'll just multiply out the 2 right now. So we'll do minus 4x, and then times leave that as a parentheses, times the 3x squared, or 3x plus 2, I mean. And then cosine of 60, hopefully you know unit circle if you're doing the Math Level 2, because that's something you get exposed to in pre-calc, and you should have taken pre-calc if you're going to take the Math Level 2. If you don't know unit circle, take a look at our website through this link here. It is something that we have available as a free download, but you can also use calculator to figure this out if need be. Cosine of 60 degrees is going to be 1/2. From there, we're going to do a little further simplification. This is going to be 4x squared and 9x squared will give us 13x squared. This will be plus 12x plus 4. And then this will be, when we multiply everything, 1/2 times 4 is 2x. And when we distribute that out, we'll have a negative 2x times 3x, which will be a negative 6x squared, and a negative 2x times 2, which will be minus 4x. From there, we continue to simplify by combining like terms. And we get 12 is equal to 7x squared plus 8x plus 4. Bring the 12 over, and we get 7x squared plus 8x minus 8 equals 0. Now, if you're looking at this at a quick glance, you might say, okay, can I factor this? And I would have two factors of 7x and x, and you can play with the numbers on that and see what might work out. You can also look at this and say, all right, is there a way for me to use another method? And remember, with any quadratic, you can always use quadratic formula or completing the square. So just to give you a quick look at that, here, our values for a, b, and c are determined by the equation. So with quadratic formula, we would have negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. And it's going to be over 2a. And then from there, we can simplify. That's going to be negative 8 plus or minus. This will end up being 64. 56 times 4, let's see, that's 224. 64 plus 224 will be 288. So plus or minus root 288 over 14. And from there, I'll let you go ahead and simplify that last step on your own. If you get to that stage, please feel free to take a look at our website if you want to check and make sure that you got the right answer on this question. And I can actually give you the answer for it if you want the exact value. For that one, that's going to come out to be 0.64 when you simplify is the value that they're looking for x in this problem. For more, please feel free to watch our other videos, and thanks for watching.